Live from their home studios, please welcome the hosts of DevCentral Connects, Boo Lamb and Jason Rom.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's DevCentral Connects. We're excited to be talking to the community this week. We've got an exciting guest lined up who is DevCentral Connects alumni, so it's great to have him back on. But before that, we have a few things to go over here. So this week I am joined by my lovely co-host, Jason Rom, so I will bring him on. Jason, how you doing?
I'm well. I'm very thankful on days like this for shelter. You know, the modern conveniences of heated and insulated places. And hey, I'm having my own little toddler walking into the room thing.
Awesome.
Although my room's not big enough for her to really, or for him to get a little, waddle going in. So I can just rapid, quick, get that door shut. But yeah, having a little ice storm. Very, very thankful for shelter. And it's good. It's a good day.
Yeah. I woke up to a bit of snow out here as well, out here in Vancouver, British Columbia. I know we have many colleagues over in Seattle, and they got some snow a few days ago, and so we got a little bit up here as well. So interesting weather that we've got here. So this week, one thing that we wanted to do was actually highlight a job every week. We have a number of job openings that are available if you head over to f5.com/careers. And, we want to take some time to highlight some of the openings that we have and maybe provide some context for those of you who you might be looking for a career change. We're not trying to go out and poach people and say, hey, up and leave your jobs to come over to F5. We have talked about a number of times now how great it is to work at F5. And we even had a show several weeks back now where we had some folks that kind of went through their journey from being an F5 customer to actually being an F5 employee. So you want to flip back to that show. Maybe the research team might be able to post that one into the comments. So I picked out this week's job posting of the week, and near and dear to my heart, this is a solutions engineer posting. This is a field solutions engineer. So just to give a bit of context around that, we have different types of solutions engineers at F5, and a solution engineer is somebody who is customer facing. You go out with an account manager to meet with customers, and you talk about F5 solutions. First of all, you hear about what people's challenges are, and then where appropriate, then you can kind of discuss where F5 solutions might help along with your account manager. We have field ones and we have digital ones. The digital ones are not out in the field, and they're not going out and meeting with customers where appropriate, but the field ones are the ones that kind of go out. This one is based in Virginia. It's a remote role. You're not in an office, but you're kind of centered around the Virginia area, and you're helping out with customers that are local to there. I would say it's a great career. We also should note here that this is a solutions engineer 2. And so I specifically highlighted this one because I joined F5 as a solutions engineer 2. I had not worked previously at a vendor in a sales engineering role before. So a 2 is actually a great point for folks who are interested in this type of career to actually head into something of this job level and kind of level up from there. So previously I had actually worked at a partner that represented F5 among other products as well. And so this was a great way for me to transition. So this one here is, like I said, based in Virginia, Solutions Engineer 2. And if you want to connect with the hiring manager, that is Mr. John Shin, great longtime F5er, so he can tell you all the great things about F5 as well. You can connect with him on LinkedIn, and this is the role that he's hiring for. He's based in Virginia as well. Alrighty. So, having said that, this week we've got on Chas Lesley, and we are going to talk about F5 Distributed Cloud. Last week we made a big deal about this. This is a big thing for F5. F5 Agility, a lot of it was actually centered around Distributed Cloud, and specifically Distributed Cloud WAAP, which is the first service that's coming onto there. So looking forward to having that chat with him. Let's segue our way over there.
Hey guys,
Hey, Chas, how's it going?
it's good. I too am grateful for the comfort of walls. Except from I'm doing this one from a hotel room today, so happy to be with you guys.
Yeah, great to have you on. Jason mentioned that you are DevCentral early alumni for DevCentral Connects.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Jason. It's great to be with you guys this morning too. I think these are exciting times, obviously, for us as a company. Things that are going on. Via post agility, right? We had agility last week, and it sounds like you guys were talking about that. And just some really cool announcements that came out, and particularly circumspect to the F5 Distributed Cloud offerings that we have now.
Yeah, that's been quite a shift for you, because like when you joined us in episode number 2, like a year, is it almost been 2 years ago?
It's been a bit. It's been a bit. Yeah.
It was APM because the pandemic was starting. Everybody was being shifted home, whether people's companies were ready for that to happen or not. And APM became a pretty important tool for the toolbox for a lot of people.
It has, and I think, as we look at what's happening in the world today, not so much far distant from what we had happen with APM and the need for remote access, and we look at the digital economy now as we've gone through the pandemic and people are using digital applications a lot more. Now we have impacts of technology shortages and chip shortages. Now we're looking for different ways to deliver different solution sets. So it's kind of an evolving landscape that we've been able to address as a company, or help our customers and ultimately our friends and peers be able to continue to deliver their resources, their applications, and serve the community in unique ways. And I think that's one of the, going to what Boo said about working in F5, I think that's one of the most exciting things that we get to do in our roles, is being able to contribute in that way and be able to really make an impact.
Yeah, for sure. And regardless of what your role is at F5, whether it's solution engineer or what you're doing today with distributed cloud, and there's all kinds of ways to contribute to the success of F5 as a company, but ultimately the success for our customers. Because if we can't help them have success, then we don't have success.
Exactly. So, with that, I think, and I think we all started as SEs too, Boo. So shout out to the position, because there's a lot of growth opportunity here. But I think what we'll do today is kind of highlight maybe some of the things that, the viewers have seen from Agility last week, some of the things that you guys may have highlighted, and kind of provide an intro, if you will, to F5 Distributed Cloud. Now, this is F5's SaaS platform. Right now, we have a globally available SaaS platform that can deliver a multitude of different solution offerings. We're going to focus primarily on the web application and API protection, use cases, the web application firewall use cases that we're delivering. And this is a SaaS-based self-service consumption model where we've brought the F5 WAAP engine into this framework so that you, the customer, can get into different service models and delivery models. It doesn't matter where these applications are. If you kind of familiar with the F5 mantra of any application anywhere, right? This gives us the ability to have this cloud-based security zone, if you will, a cloud-based DMZ, to coin Eric Chen, that you can have sitting in front of all your applications, providing this up-tier security model where we're doing, bot mitigation strategies. We're doing web application firewall mitigation strategies. And those origins, those backends, those upstreams can really exist anywhere, right? They could be in any CSP, any public CSP. They could be on an on-prem data center or maybe some private cloud offering, but able to have that agility, if you will, to go across that entire, logical enterprise, cloud that a customer has built within their architecture. That's really exciting, because now we can look at things like migration strategies, consistent security models, where we may have the need to have consistent security firewalling across all those resources, or application firewalling, I guess it should say, across all those delivery models, and be able to control it through a centralized SaaS control plane that's providing a lot of visibility, a lot of analytics, and the ability to kind of surface that really quickly. So really exciting stuff. And another thing that I think is really important to kind of note or mention is that it's not just doing this as an edge design model, right? This kind of, cloud-based security zone design model. It's also about the ability to maybe just work at a distributed layer, guys. And so from the standpoint of saying, well, maybe I don't want to have this global network, this global distributed cloud network that F5 now has to front end my services. Maybe I just want to have a node or a pod of those services running in my public cloud fabric or my on-prem data center, but I want to SaaS control those endpoints, right? I'll take care of the up-tiering and protecting myself in terms of my ISP connectivity, maybe L3, L4 protections, but I want to manage that distributedly, and I want to do it all from a SaaS control plane. Those are some of the, again, some of the really exciting things that we can address in the design model with F5 Distributed Cloud.
It's pretty slick.
So,
I was, playing with the interface. It glues together so nicely.
It does. And then there's things there that I think that are really intriguing to customers. Some of the great feedback we've gotten from customers is the fact that the ability to, again, address those use cases, but also to address it easily, right? The ability to use security in the way that they can, right? Every customer is different, every situation is different. And so when we look at this from an operation standpoint, right? So many of the challenges that we look at is, how do I do it day to day, right? How do I keep security operationally, if you will, within my fabric? And that's a large part of this self-service platform, taking away some of the other management aspects that customers have to engage in, and then focus on those that are primarily what they're looking for. And it's not to say that you just use the F5 distributed cloud services, right? You can layer these with your other security services that you already have in play. Those could be existing F5 services that you're using. So it's not, we're thinking more holistically and trying to meet customers, again, where they need to be met in their different environments.
Both and instead of either or, right?
Yeah, both and instead of either or, right? So maybe what we'll do, Boo and Jason, is just take a couple of quick things. We'll take a little. If we have a few moments, we'll go through and look at the console just very briefly. We'll highlight some points there, and then maybe I'll do some summary pieces here at the end.
Sounds good.
So, if you can let me share just a little bit, we'll hop over.
Okay.
So this is a SaaS-based tenant. This is a F5 Distributed Cloud tenant console. You'll see me. I just logged in with some new. A new credential here. But what you'll get is when you come in here, there's a lot of different work domains or work tiles that you can see on the screen. And these go into different services or functionality that the platform offers. As new users, you can guide through. You can also pick your personas as you're coming in. And we're going to focus on primarily the web application story, but there's a lot of other delivery models here. And I would challenge you, or encourage you rather, to kind of come in. You can get a personalized experience here where you can go register for yourself, or you can get into talk to your local account team, one of the SEs that Boo mentioned at the top of the call, where you can go in and actually kick the tires here in a more in-depth approach. But you can see there's different pieces here that you can control. As you navigate through the interface, you can see details relative to maybe an application that you've deployed with a load balancer. This visualization capability, the ability to look at individualized events, the ability to see individualized latency and get some initial detail on request is something that happens at build, right? We're not just you build it, then you have to attach all these services, because we're building in a different consumption model here. We're giving the customers and subscribers the opportunity to get data a lot faster and surface that data and be able to filter things down very quickly, or look at additional detail here. Specific to the web application firewall aspects, right? There's malicious client identification capabilities here, where we're using the machine learning of the fabric to enhance the experience of security, right? Being able to identify those malicious users and see what they're doing, and then take action against those users as far as blocking or allowing them, or also using the F5 WAAP engine that is present in the platform to be able to have, and I've switched screens here, to show you this piece, that I can look at security events. I can look at those security events. I can get details of those security events. I can take actions on those security events right here from a SaaS-based console. And I'm doing this across, different, personas, if you will. We can have RBAC controls here where you can have security personas or other personas that are coming in to the fabric and being able to surface this visibility and security as we apply that to a particular delivery point or an application. When we're looking at as we start to stretch out, it's not just about the security aspects here, and there's a lot of other different again environment components here that we can engage in. There's deployment models into CSP provided environments where we're doing security there. And where we're attaching, and this gets into the different deployment models, but we're attaching security at a delivery point in a way that can be fully automated as well, right? This is an API first driven platform. All the configs are shown in platform in terms of your ability to configure them, as well as, there's discovery going on. And one of the things that we see in the market too is, as we start to launch more applications, as we look at more of this digital economy and app-driven economy, the rise of shadow APIs and things, being able to have API discovery and be able to map out those APIs and see what's happening with those APIs relative to those endpoints is really important in terms of being able to understand more holistically what's happening with our applications. And if we can go back to the view here, stop sharing the screen here. Sorry.
Yep, I'm back.
All right.
That view is all generated too, right? The API endpoints.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know how to get back to the main yard here with you guys. But I think what is really exciting about that is the components that you see there, right? That's all API driven first, right? So I was going through a click operation there where we're going through and looking at different elements, but you saw, you saw the ability to get into different deployment models with our cloud configuration components. You saw the ability to see a WAAP and security events tied to an application. In this case, this was a shop application that you saw. You saw some visibility, right, in terms of, but all that's in the platform, right, and completely accessible based on RBAC controls with different team members.
It's pretty slick, like the ability to add your origin. So you showed how the menu for the different sites for different cloud providers is right there. Once you have those, you can create your origins for wherever you need to go, and then you just layer on the WAAP on top of that, right?
Correct. And I think one of the exciting things there is it gets into migration strategies. It gets into those agility pieces. We have customers that are using it for we tend to talk about terms of multi-cloud application mesh, right? But sometimes a tenant or a customer just has a single cloud that they're working with, right? Maybe they're going across regions. Maybe they want to put an origin pool in region 1 and an origin pool in region 2 and be able to stretch across those regions is important to them. Maybe there's two CSPs that are doing migrations between, or they're coming from on-prem to another cloud environment. So I think those are strategic, things that customers are struggling with today as they start to move their applications back and forth between maybe a public cloud environment and a private cloud data center environment. But the execution of that security, being able to be consistent across not only the data center environment, but also the public cloud environment is one of the great value propositions, if you will, of what distributed cloud is bringing to the table. And this as a SaaS service to the customers that's, I think, the greatest feedback we've gotten from the customers that we already have in platform. I know that we just talked about the official launch, but we've already had customers using the platform since we acquired, right? So those are really exciting things.
So for those who have been around with F5 for a while, before the Volterra acquisition, before F5 Distributed Cloud, there are some services out there for Silverline. Can you speak real quick just to how all that maps together and what what F5 Distributed Cloud is versus what Silverline is versus all of that? Is that branding? Is it technology? Is it how does that go forward for our customers?
That's a great question, Jason. And then I'll kind of put it on the spectrum really quickly, right? We're talking about distributed cloud as a self-service platform, right? The ability of me, you, a customer to go in and drive and build those different elements themselves, but not have to worry about platform maintenance. Silverline as a managed policy service, right, is something where we have SOC engineers that help customers curate those policies. They manage those policies on behalf of the customer. They collaborate with the customer, but it's more of a managed offering, right, where the customer is not into the daily tasks of managing it themselves. They're deploying and looking at the events and things of that nature. So that would be the primary distinguishing factor, that we have a SOC engineer that's curating and reacting to those alerts versus a self-service where we can react to as a customer to those alerts and being able to control the different elements of the policy more directly because it is a self-service. And that's different than a self-managed service, right, where we're managing like a big IP or Nginx App Protect model, or maybe a DevOps model where we're managing the Nginx App Protect instance inside the application itself.
Gotcha. So yeah, on the Silverline side, managed, it's more partnership with the management and analysis, whereas with distributed cloud, it's like, hey, we're providing a layer of abstraction for you. Go.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's really important to understand there, we're using the same WAF engine technology across all those paradigms, right? So again, when we release security releases now across these environments, right? To your point, is that when we release those and we iterate on the platform, for the self-service customers, they're getting that immediately because it's already delivered in the managed. They're getting that, in their in their delivery models very quickly, and so. Again, we're trying to abstract that platform management piece. And I think, the last kind of one quick point I'll make is that iteration piece. Because we're in public cloud, there's a lot of things coming into platform, right? We see some of the shape technologies, the advanced bot defense that is already in platform, some other early access technologies like client-side defense and authentication intelligence, helping customers reduce friction for their known good users. All these technologies are now becoming consumable components within the platform, within the self-service framework. Again, expanding a customer's experience and their ability to move agilely across their multi-cloud application mesh of applications.
Yeah, good deal. For the application network security architects out there that appreciate abstraction, but really, really appreciate diagrams. Is there an architecture view that we have publicly available yet for how all these pieces fit together?
Yeah, with the launch, with the official launch that we had last week, a lot of obviously there was some rebranding that was going on. So the new portals are up with regards to the content. So you can reach out to your local account teams, but there's also publicly consumable information that's now being posted online, respective to the launch. That gets into the different architecture frameworks that we're supporting, the different component pieces, the rebranding of those component pieces with their appropriate names. So that's all publicly available.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a couple articles on DevCentral as well, kind of helping, to clear up the piece A to piece B and the mapping, like what you're saying. So, yep.
And then there's more coming too. I know we encourage the teams to be engaged, right? And we'll post. You'll see some Jason and Boo will have some more contributions coming to DevCentral shortly with some of the what we're seeing customers in the field engage with and how they're delivering the model.
That is music to our ears.
Yeah. And there is, for folks that want to kind of kick the tires on this, and maybe without having to spin up a whole app and everything, we released a simulator, right?
We did, and so there are simulators online as well. You can go to f5.com/simulators, I believe is the link off the top of my head, and you can actually run through simulations on the distributed cloud platform. There's going to be updated simulators with some of the new content that we have here that we released recently. But again, those give customers the experience of being able to do those things and kick the tires without actually, walk through that. And there's webinars that we're hosting. I know that the distributed cloud team here at F5, simulator.f5.com. Thanks, Jason.
Cool.
There's also webinars that have been going on that I would encourage the customers out there to subscribe to. We've done them in West, Central, and East, and there's different user groups and labs that are going on with the different account teams across the country, and indeed across the world. I don't want to be disrespectful, right? I know that our European team members were doing the same thing just last week.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully we can actually, maybe me and Jason can chat about this, but maybe we can even host a lab via DevCentral for all of our members.
I think that'd be great to do an actual walkthrough, right? And show them how, we could do this with, I think that's one of the exciting things, right? We could actually have an application, protect that application, and put a WAAP policy in place, advanced bot defense in place during the scope of one of these calls. That's how quickly that solution lends itself to deployment, and that's through ClickOps, right? We can do it API driven, but we can do it through ClickOps in the time that we're on this call.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe we'll set the table and introduce it on DevCentral Connects, and we'll do an exclusive event on DevCentral. Have to be registered for that, and we'll do some behind the scenes Zoom call where we can all kind of be face to face to work through that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would.
Very cool. Alrighty, well, that is time, Chas. Thank you very much for everything that you shared with us today. There's a lot of stuff to go through. We got a lot of call to action as well. So if you check the YouTube comments there, the research team has been filling out all of the links that you want to grab in order to check this out. But thank you very much for your time today, Chas.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks
awesome,
a lot.
Guys. Thanks for having me the second time. Look forward to the third time.
For sure. Yeah. Third time's a charm, right?
Too long.
Yeah, it is, Jason. It is.
All right. Stay safe there in the storm that's heading your way from my way.
Yeah, we will try. We'll batten down the hatches.
All
Take care, guys.
Take care.
See ya. Alrighty, that was fun. We got a lot of really cool stuff to check out with Distributed Cloud WAAP. That was big news for us last week, and great to have Chas on. Hey,
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to dig in to that.
Yeah, for sure. So for folk, we were hinting at this, but if you go over to community.f5.com, we've got the new platform up and running. That was, I would say, potentially the second biggest announcement of last week, maybe even the first. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. It might have been the biggest news of last week, but some would tell me that it's the second biggest news. So check out community.f5.com. We have an events section on there now. So the first event that we had was actually an AMA with our platform manager, Leif Zimmerman, who's been working really hard to get the platform up and running. And migrated over to the new platform. Super interactive. If you like Wordle, go check out the water cooler section because you could post your Wordle scores on there. If you have code to contribute, if you have a GitHub repo that has some helpful stuff, go check out the crowdsource on there as well. Technical forums, if you got any questions. Lots of really cool stuff to discover. If you haven't been to DevCentral in a while, it's exciting to be there now.
Or if you have expertise to share with the community in the technical forums, because lots of questions get asked, and I know a little about a lot, but I don't know a lot about everything, and so it takes a strong community of contributors to fill out all the niches of areas of expertise I don't have, and so it's good that we have such a vibrant community that helps each other out.
Yeah, it has been great. And that community has all the context too, right? They're like in the trenches. Me and Jason live in this world of demos and lab environments where everything works most of the time for us, but it's lovely to have the folks that are in the trenches that can answer those questions as well.
For sure.
Okay, a couple of shows that we want to tease for everybody coming up here. Next Tuesday, I'll be on with At the Edge, and I'll be talking about building your first customer edge. So if you've been following my little story here for the last few weeks, I've got my Intel NUC, so that has replaced my huge, oversized 2U Dell R710 servers that are a decade old. I've got my Intel NUC. I released a video on building that NUC, putting VMware ESXi on there. Now, the whole purpose of that was getting to the point where I could throw a customer edge on there for F5 Distributed Cloud, because as a distributed cloud, I can run an edge at my house. Literally, there's a Kubernetes cluster that sits right beside me that I manage from a SaaS platform, which I think is amazing. So we'll go over that customer edge and how you could build out a customer edge very easily as well. Jason, we got on the 3rd Microservices March kickoff.
We do. I'm really excited. The entire month is Microservices Month, and we're going to be doing labs each day. So the 3rd, we're going to kick off what the month is about, and have a fantastic guest that day. And then the rest of the Thursdays, we're going to start by introducing a lab, kind of like we talked with Chas about introducing a lab for distributed cloud. We're actually going to go through a lab that's part of Microservices Month. We're going to kick it off, kind of talk about it, and we're going to do the not quite good cop, bad cop, but maybe good developer, bad developer with Boo and I, and we're going to trade off weeks where he's going to prep a lab and I'm going to come in completely blind, and then the next week I'll do the same. I'll prep the lab, he'll come in completely blind, so we can kind of be the intended audience of these labs and ask all the questions that new contributors ask, and so it'll be a good time. We'll kind of do that back and forth, and then have some office hours over on DevCentral after the shows to where we can be face to face and walk through those experiences together.
Yeah,
but that'll get kicked off next Thursday, so we're really excited about the month of March. Yeah.
Yes. It's been a while since we've done lab stuff on DevCentral, I would say. And so I'm excited for this. And with the new platform, the ability to host F5 events on there. So you want to go sign up on community.f5.com. There's the header that has the events tab on there. Look for something set up for the 10th of March. And we're going to host, it's lovely to do these live streams and interact with everyone over chat, but it's going to be awesome to be able to go kind of after hours backstage, and everybody can just jump on a Zoom call and we can work on the lab stuff together.
Sure.
So that should be fun. Okay, so on the 8th, security sidebar, Peter Silva, and I believe he'll have on Sander from F5 Labs. They'll talk about the 2022 Application Protection Report, which is being released. Awesome info on there. And then, Jason, you've got the core coming up.
Yeah, I teased this on Top 5, the modern app reference architecture. Nginx put together a tremendous resource. It's out on the F5 DevCentral Git repo, and with you deploy like a 12 gig Ubuntu instance on your laptop or out in a cloud instance somewhere, and then it builds an entire app architecture. You've got the app, you've got the infrastructure under it, and the visualization, your telemetry, your dashboards, all of it. And so you can swap pieces in and out that maybe you use a different piece than some of what they used, but it's a great learning environment to start with. So we're going to talk about that on the 15th and kind of dig in and look at the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, that one should be fun. All right, folks, we will close her up from here. But again, go check out community.f5.com. We got a lot of good stuff happening on there. And otherwise, Jason, we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Look forward to it.